Okay, ordering fractions. Now this topic is one of the more confusing topics that we do when it comes to fractions, okay? So the question is this: what order should these fractions be in if I want to place them in ascending order from the lowest to highest? Okay, so what that means is that we need to put the smallest amount first and then the largest amount last, okay? Now, I'm going to run through three methods that you may be able to use in order to do this. The first one, however, is not a good one because it doesn't justify your work. So if you're doing an exam and you go off your knowledge of numbers, it isn't going to get you full marks, but it's worth going through to start off with because it's a good way to get an idea of what it could be. So basically what I do is I look at these and I think, okay, well, I've got a half and a third. Okay, well, two-thirds. Two-thirds is more than a half, so that's smaller. I've got 5/7, that's more than a half. 5/6, that's more than a half. So my smallest number here is definitely going to be a half, all right? And then I'd go, okay, well, is 5/7 more than 2/3? That's a hard one. I think it is, though. I think it is. Is 5/6 more than 2/3? I think it is too. So I'm going to put 2/3 down. And then I've got 5/7 and 5/6. And my thinking here would be, okay, well, these are bigger bits and I've got 5 of those. And 6 are bigger than 7ths. So this is probably going to be the biggest one. So 5/7 is probably going to be next. And then 5/6 is going to be the biggest. Now, I'm pretty confident I've got that right. But I kind of don't know because I haven't really worked it out. So let's get into some ways that you can work it out. Now, the first one is by finding common denominators. Now, this is where we jump back to lowest common multiple. We need to find the lowest common multiple of these numbers. So we've got 2, we've got 3, we've got 6, and we've got 7, okay? Now, remembering when we find the lowest common multiple, we find multiples of the biggest one first. So let's start here. 14, 21, 28, 35. And I'm just going to write a few down to start off with. I'm not going to go through them all. So now we need to cross-check. So, can 2 go into 14? Yes, it can. Can 3? No, I need to go to my next one. Can 2 go into that? Nope, it's an odd number. What about this one? Yes. Can 3 go into 28? No. Okay. What about 35? No for 2. So we need to go a little bit more. 42. Can 2 go into 42? Yes, it can. Can 3 go into 42? Yes, it can. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 can be divided by 3. Can 6 go into 42? Yes, it can. So if we find the denominators turn all of these into a denominator of 42, then we're going to be able to justify whether or not our answer here is correct. So, how many times do I need to multiply 3 to make 42? Well, I need to do it by 10, and then I've got 12 left over, which makes 4. So that means I'm going to have to multiply it by 14. Okay? And whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. How many times do I need to multiply 7 to make 42? I need to multiply it by 6. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. How many times do I need to multiply 6 to make 42? I need to multiply it by 7. Okay? And how many times do I need to multiply 2 to make 42? I need to multiply it by 21. Okay? Oops, 21. So now what I can do is I can do those multiplications. Okay? So 2 times 14 gives me 28 over 42. And remembering, all of our denominators are going to be 42. 5 times 6 gives me 30 over 42. 5 times 7 gives me 35 over 42. And then I have 21 over 42. So let's have a look. Let's see if I got it right. Okay. So I said a half was first. So that one's the lowest. Yep, it was. I was correct there. I got that one right. Then I said 2/3. So here's my 2/3. It's 28 over 42. Yep, it is. It is the second lowest. And then I said 5/7. Here's 5/7, 30. Yep, it is the third lowest. And then obviously 35 over 42 is our highest. So what we've just done there is we've justified our work. We've justified it by working out our lowest common multiple and converting my fractions into 42 over 42, all right? There's another way that we can do it too, called division, okay? Basically, we just do the divisions, all right? And we're going to get into some long division here, which is going to be fun. So, this is actually a question. It says 2 divided by 3. Let's do it. 2 divided by 3. Now, you'll be looking at that and going, that looks wrong, because usually when you do this division, the big number's on the inside and the little one's on the outside. Doesn't mean that we can't do it like this. So, all we need to do is we put in our decimal point, okay, and a 0, and our decimal point at the top, okay? How many times does 3 go into 2? 0. How many do we have left over? We have 2 left over. So we put our little 2 there, okay? 3 goes into 26 times with a remainder of 2. Okay, 3 goes into 26 times with a remainder of 2. Now, when you have an instance where you keep getting the same number, you can just put a dot above the number, and that means recurring. That means it's going to go forever. If you have more than one number that recurs, you just put a line above those recurring numbers to symbolise the fact that they'll keep going forever. So we have 0.6 here. Now let's do 5 divided by 7. 5 divided by 7. 7 goes into 5 0 times. We put in our decimal points. 7 goes into 5, what's that? 7 times with 1 left over, and it goes into this once. Now, obviously I could keep going. Until I got an equal answer. But I'm just going to go to 2 decimal places, and hopefully that will give me enough to go on to work out whether or not what order these should be in. So, next one. 5 divided by 6. 6 goes into 5 0 times. We add in our decimal points, and we have a remainder of 5. 6 goes into 50. It goes into 48, so that is 8 times, and we have a remainder of 2, and it goes into 23 times. Once again, a remainder of 2. So I'm going to leave it there at 2 decimal points. Then our next one is 1/2. Oh, this one's great. I love doing this division. Okay, it's a nice easy one. 2 goes into 1 0 times, and then 2 goes into 10 5 times. So here we can see the sizes of our questions. So 2/3, or of our fractions, sorry. 2/3 is 0.6. 5/7 is 0.71. 5/6 is 0.83, and then 1/2 is 0.5. Okay? So once again, we know that the order, this one has to be last, this one has to be second last, third last, and then 5/6 is our first one, okay? So that is division. Now, in your test, you will need to use either one of these 2 methods, either by finding common denominators or by using division in order to justify your answer, okay? We always answer ordering fractions questions in their original form. So even if you convert, then you order, and then you re-answer in your original form, okay? So, a couple of methods there for you to think about and practice throughout this lesson. Good luck with ordering fractions.